What has made people achieve greatness, purposes, become who God made them to be, is sacrifice. Denying yourself, foregoing certain things, because at times you may not even know the exact time that you will give that God will reward you. Because consistent in giving, pursuing sacrifice, always seeking to give what you have to support others, God always bring waters to fill your tank. Because you think about others than yourself. That's how sacrifice is. You deny yourself to gain the valuable things ahead of you. I love that. In 1 Kings chapter 3 verse 4 going to 5, please be very sensitive here. I'm trying to heal you from something. Let's read it together. 1 Kings chapter 3 verse 4 going. Let's all read. He says, and the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was what great high place. 1,000 burnt offering did Solomon offer upon the altar. Continue. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, ask what I shall give thee. Say, ask what I shall give thee. Solomon said, thou hast showed unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth. In truth, say in truth. We don't walk before God in lies. Because David walked before the Lord in truth. Sacrifice is connected to your truth. Oh yes. Says they that worship the Lord, they will worship the Lord in spirit, listen, and in truth. In other words, you cannot worship God with your carnality, thinking about yourself, only your house, only your hair maker. You are causing heaven to shorten your life, because others are waiting to come in to sacrifice. One thing that David did, that God always showed mercy upon David. In those days, for you to sin, to sleep with somebody's wife and still live to be a king, it has to be God's intervention, because it is legal and it is a law in Israel in those days that when you sleep with somebody's wife or even fornicate, they will stone you to death. Why King David killed somebody's husband to be and slept with the wife Bathsheba, and still God said, live and remain to be a king. For your information, even when Bathsheba conceived, the Lord God Almighty killed the child, because he don't want any impediment or anything to block his prophecy. No evidence. Oh God, you are not here. God can kill thousands for you if you know these principles. If you know these principles, you don't suffer. It is better to know the truth, and the truth hurt a lot. The reason why I always tell people, sow a seed, sow a seed. You don't know. I am pushing you to reach a stage whereby when you speak to God, you don't need 2 minutes or 3 minutes to receive the answer. It just comes because your heart is open. what he said here. Go back. Let me show you something in 5. And Solomon said, thou hast what? Shown unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy. Do you know why? King David, was a crazy giver. This guy can sacrifice like crazy. You will see David going to battle, finish battle without sacrificing. He always gives thanks to God by sacrifice. And the son Solomon learned the same principle. Why your miracle has delayed? I'm not here to always put oil on your head. I have to talk to you. I won't go by what you feel. I have to go by what the Lord says to me. I can stop ministration today. If God says we should just preach, I'll preach. Because I will talk to you, tell you God says this. Look at what happened yesterday. This woman nearly died. God ought to cause things to happen. The things you see here is miracle. How can God go to somebody's Bible, find out that a person have dollar in her Bible? Things you see here, to see mint and all these things in people's bag. You think God don't see things? God is here. Don't you see God is here? Don't you see it? Why God is quiet after he manifests his power? And whatever he says is like it is pending, because you have not fulfilled your part. So even though he will show up and prove to you that I am in your midst, but he will still not do what he's supposed to do. Why? Because you have not come to a place to deny yourself. I am not here to cast out demons. Thousands of prophets have laid hands on you, but still nothing has happened, because you don't want to hear the truth. Domineering spirit is all over you. I can't do it. I won't do it. Hey! Whenever God servant tells you to do something, even if you don't have it, people think that we cannot borrow to give to God. It's a lie. Who told you we can't borrow to give to God? But you can borrow to get a car. Oh, Jesus Christ. You can borrow to buy a house. You can borrow for your children's school fees, but you can't borrow for the house of God to be built. What are you talking about? Because Jesus don't come from heaven to bring money to pay bills. He's entrusting you and I to build it. So if you can buy a car by going to the dealers to negotiate for them to give you the car 40,000, and even go into high interest rate is very high, but because the car is so nice and you love to sit in that car, this body of yours, you just want that body to relax and be massaged, so you will go all extra length to negotiate the rate system. Make sure you pay a deposit. Even that deposit, you must go and lend it from somewhere before you can get that car. Why? You want to have peace to sit in your car. Who is taking care of your soul and your spirit? Just imagine. There's a deep things about you don't know God. You don't know God. You think God is just coming to church and come and clap your hands and go back home. Let's finish it. So what happened? Read it. Let's all read. Please go. And the righteousness, go back to 5. Let me show you something. He said, and Solomon said, thou hast what? Show unto thou what? The servant David, my father, great what? Mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth. Continue. And in what? Right? Did this guy righteous? David. That question. Is David righteous? Do you know why? He was covered by what? By God. in God's righteousness. Not by his righteousness. This guy, God said, your hands are bloody for you to build me a house. I won't let you build a house for me because your hands are what is bloody. How can your hands be bloody and we classify you as righteous? It was the uprightness of God and righteousness of God that covers you. It is by his will and his mandate that you live. Makataya. And David understands the principle. So he always says that I deny myself. David said, I deny myself. Oh Lord, I deny myself. Have mercy. Anytime David stands before God, he always gives glory unto him and says, you are my redeemer. You are my strength. Have mercy. Always have mercy. Why? Because he understands the ways of God. That his righteousness cannot be compared into God's righteousness. I wonder why people think that I can support myself, I can sacrifice for myself, but I cannot sacrifice for my brother. When did you send money to your brother? When you arrive in USA? When did you help the vulnerable people, the poor people at home who are seeking for help? What have you done for them? You don't sacrifice anything, but you want God to sacrifice for you. That's why cancer is hitting the nation. Sickness is hitting us because we don't understand the principle of sacrifice. 2 Samuel 24:24. Let me tell you something over here. Listen, continue. Let's all read. And the king said unto Araunah, nay, but I will surely buy it of thee at a price, neither will I offer burnt what offering on this thing. I think I said it when I came here the other time. I said David had some problems. The Lord said to David that when you go to this battle, don't try to count the armies, never count them and classify us because of the numerous of the armies. That is why the battle was won. Never count anyone. And David kept on counting, and God said, because you have disobeyed me, I will bring judgment to you. Meanwhile, David had been sinning, doing all kinds of things. God forgive him, but this one, he said, I am not going to forgive you because you, David, you don't listen. You don't listen. You have been doing it. I forgive you. Anytime that you sin, you come to me, have mercy upon me, and I forgive you. But this one, dear, because you forfeit my word, I am going to bring to pass 3 judgments. Choose one. And when you choose one, I will do to you according to what you have chosen. And when God said to David, David said, have mercy upon me, O Lord. He was still pleading to God and telling God, have mercy upon me. And God said that it is never going to be possible. David, you have extended your sin to a higher degree where you cannot have any mercy anymore. Choose one, and even if you don't choose, I will choose it for you. So David was still pleading before God, and then the Lord had to come in and choose the last one. That the whole nation went through some turmoil and danger. There was a famine. There was I call it plague. The plague came upon the nation of Israel, and 70,000 people died. But still, David didn't die with the 70,000 people. How can God kill 70,000 people and leave the person who committed the crime? Oh God. How can God leave the very one who caused the trouble? You really did the sin thing, and God have to kill 70,000 people, and all your children were exempted. You tell me sacrifice is not needed. Sacrifice is continuously. It's supposed to be habit, supposed to be a lifestyle thing. For God to stop the plague of happening, this is what happened. Let's read it. It says, and the king said unto Haruna, Nay, but I will surely buy it of thee at a price. Listen, this Haruna was selling this dress floor for sacrifice, and the king rushed there early in the morning to look for Haruna to give him a threshing floor so that he can use that to sacrifice for the Lord, for the plague to stop. For the plague to stop, David understood that God don't need prayer. Wow. Neither he need fasting. Wow. What will make that plague to stop is to give a sacrifice. Wow. You are not here with me. Is to give a sacrifice, and that sacrifice that I will give to God will stop the plague. There are certain plagues in your life that it doesn't take what you think. Oh, it is not how you pray. Oh, it is not. Prayer is good. It is not how you fast. Oh, fasting is good. There are some plagues that you have to sacrifice, and you say sacrifice. You say sacrifice means you deny yourself of everything. All the pressure, all the holy days you have to go. And he said, I will never give God anything that will not cost me. Hey, say hey. I will never give anything to God. That's what David said. He said, I will never give, because Haruna wanted to give everything to him for free. So why my Lord has come to me this time of the day